The OpClear platform uses in situ on-demand CO2 and saline lens wash, minimising the need for scope removal during a procedure and addressing many of the frustrations associated with visual obstructions. The OpClear platform consists of two parts: the OpClear control unit and the sterile single-use disposable procedure kit. The control unit comes with a foot switch, power cable, CO2 hose, quick guide and manual. Before beginning, ensure that the control unit is positioned at a level that will be above the patient's abdomen. It is also important to check the control unit for any damage to confirm that it is in good condition. The first step in powering up the control unit is to plug one end of the power cable into the back of the unit and the other end into the power outlet. The unit can then be turned on using the switch on the rear panel. Connect the CO2 pressure hose to the inlet at the back of the control unit and tighten by hand. Once secured, the other end of the CO2 pressure hose can then be connected to a gas wall socket or gas cylinder. It is important to note that the gas pressure hose must be connected to the control unit before the gas source to minimise the risk of CO2 leaking into the operating theatre. Once connected, the gas cylinder can be opened. The foot switch should be connected to the front panel of the OpClear control unit by gently inserting it until it clicks. Press the green standby button to power up the control unit. Once the screen flashes the ADU message, it is time to select your desired operating mode. Scroll through the available operating modes by pressing the up or down arrow. Confirm the operating mode by pressing the left or right arrow. The control unit will now display the message DI and is now ready for the disposable procedure kit to be attached. Select the appropriate OpClear sheath diameter, angle and length to fit the laparoscope to be used. Always make sure you check the expiry date. After checking, open the packaging using sterile technique and place it onto a sterilised surgical table. The disposable procedure kit comes pre-assembled in a sterile pouch and consists of a sheath, wash cartridge, CO2 and wash delivery tubing, CO2 connector and filter, saline connector and filter, and a drape clip. The stopcock on the OpClear wash hub should initially be in the fully open manufactured position when removed from the packaging. To fill, rotate the stopcock 90 degrees clockwise so that the middle arrow is facing towards the wash cartridge. Then, simply connect a 10 ml syringe to the lock port and slowly advance in 10 ml of saline. It should never be filled with any more than 10 ml of saline at any one time. Once the cartridge is filled, rotate the stopcock 90 degrees to the operating position before removing the syringe. If the system runs out of saline, it can quickly be refilled without the need to remove the scope from the abdominal cavity. This is done by rotating the stopcock 90 degrees counterclockwise so the cartridge can be filled. Connect a new syringe filled with 10 ml of saline and refill the wash cartridge. This will allow the procedure to continue as normal. Once saline has been refilled, turn the stopcock back to the operating position. Before assembling the laparoscope and the OpClear disposable procedure kit, prepare the scope by using a wet swab to clean the lens. Once the laparoscope is prepped, align the distal tips of the laparoscope and the OpClear sheath, ensuring the gas and saline ports are facing the 6 o'clock position. Gently clip and push the OpClear tip in, increasing pressure along the length to ensure a tight connection. Once in position, check that the light cable and gas and saline ports are at the 6 o'clock position. Also check the tip to confirm that the sheath is aligned correctly. Now connect the procedure kit by plugging the CO2 and saline connectors into the control unit. The message PRI will appear on the screen. Before advancing into the abdominal cavity, prime the OpClear disposable procedure kit by pressing the foot switch once. The display on the control unit should read Auto. This means that the auto demist is operational and the procedure can begin. The default pressure setting for adult mode is 18 mm of mercury. For pediatric mode, the default setting is 12 mm of mercury. To manually set the desired pressure limit, simply press the left and right buttons to adjust up and down. Once the laparoscope is inserted into the abdomen, the control unit will activate Auto Demist. If at any point during the procedure you need to pause the gas flow, simply press and hold the foot switch for 2 seconds. Gas flow is reactivated by pressing the foot switch again for 2 seconds without a wash, or it can also be activated by using the wash function with a single press. If a visual obstruction occurs during a procedure, it can be cleared from the lens with one tap of the foot switch to activate the wash function. If you need to replace the CO2 cylinder during your procedure, first close the gas supply. Untighten the CO2 hose to disconnect the empty cylinder. Reconnect the CO2 hose to the new CO2 cylinder before finally opening the gas supply. There is no need to remove the device from the patient or stop the procedure, as the system will continue without interruption when the new cylinder is connected. When the system has sufficient CO2 supply, you will see a green light on the supply pressure indicator. During your procedure, if you encounter the ECO2 message and an amber light on the supply pressure indicator, this indicates the system is awaiting a CO2 supply. If the LED display reads CO2, this means the CO2 supply is low. Check the gas supply to see if your canister needs changing. If the gas supply is adequate, check the pressure hose for any possible leakages. Once the procedure is finished, the OpClear sheath should be gently removed from the scope, starting at the base of the sheath and moving towards the tip. Next, unplug the CO2 and saline connectors from the control unit by pressing the top buttons. And close the CO2 supply from the CO2 gas cylinder or disconnect the control unit from the CO2 wall plug. If a high-pressure gas cylinder was used during the procedure, the unit must be depressurized. This is done simply by pressing and holding the standby button for 4 seconds until the screen displays DEP. Once the control unit has been completely depressurized, the screen will display CDEP and the unit will enter standby mode. Never undo the high-pressure hose from the control unit unless you are certain it's been depressurized of gas. If using the OpClear control unit for another case on the same day, then simply switch off the gas. If the OpClear is not going to be used again that day, depressurize the system. Once depressurization is complete, unplug the foot switch, turn the control unit off at the back, and place it into storage until needed again.